Hey guys, I have a little lower back love sequence for you. So go ahead and grab your yoga mat or just lie on a comfortable surface, maybe a rug, and come onto your back. And let your knees bend. And then we're going to take the hands to the knees, lift the feet up off the ground, and making sure you're not squeezing your knees into your chest too much. They're kind of staying right above the hip joints. And you can let the knees touch together here. And as one piece, you're just going to circle out the knees here. But again, make sure we're not pulling the knees into the chest. So we're staying almost at about 90-degree angle with the hip crease. Putting a little also downward pressure with your hands on the knees, kind of pressing those thigh bones into the hip socket. And then just switch the direction of the circle. So start to rotate the opposite way. And the circles might not be very big. And the lower back might press down into the mat a little bit here. So you're giving your lower back a little bit of massage. Again, try to apply a little downward pressure on the knees with the hands. A couple more circles. Good, and then from here, come back to center, bring the bottoms of the feet to the mat. We're gonna come into a twist, but I want you to make a small adjustment with your hips before we do that. It makes a pretty big difference in your twist. So if you're not sure what I'm saying, just take a peek up at me in the video and maybe even come back. So you're gonna lift your hips. So watch how I just lift my hips. And then I place them over to the left, just a little bit. Okay. So I'll show that again. Lift the hips, shift them to the left, and place them down. So you're gonna kind of feel like you're almost a little side bendy here. And then you're going to take your knees in and take the knees to the right. So the hips go to the left, the knees go to the right. This just helps to align the spine a little bit when you come into that twist. Now options here are either to take the left fingertips to the left ribs. If you feel comfortable, you can extend the left arm out. The right hand can be on the outer edge of that left knee. And then if it feels good, involve the whole cervical spine. So send your gaze over towards the left fingertips. And hold and breathe there. Try to relax. Imagine the weight of gravity just allowing your spine to twist a little further. And also make sure your knees are up pretty close to your belly. So the more like a tiny ball shape you make with your body here, the more that you're going to open up the muscles of the lower back. So don't be afraid to bring those knees into the belly. Good, and let's slowly come back to center. And before we go to the other side, we're just going to bring our hips to neutral. So lift and place the hips right back in the center. Now gently lift the hips, shift them over to the right, and place them down toward the right side of your mat. Again, you're going to feel a little twisted here, but once you come into the pose, it should feel pretty good. Knees into the chest. Again, as much as you can, take the knees over to the left. Again, that little hip adjustment just aligns the spine a little nicer. Left fingertips can be on the outer right knee, and then the right arm can be bent, fingertips to the ribs, or the right arm can be straight. And if it's comfortable, you can turn your gaze all the way to the right to look at the right hand. And then take some breaths, try to relax. And each exhale, let your body soften a little, and just come a little further into that twist. Good, and then slowly coming back to center. Place the bottoms of the feet to the mat and then shift your hips back to center. Now take both knees in, hands behind the thighs, and you're just going to roll up and down the spine a couple times here. So you kind of straighten the legs to gain a little momentum as you rock back, and as you rock up to sit, the knees bent. Good, one more time, come all the way up to sit. And then bring yourself into a tabletop position. Bringing the wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and point the toes here. We'll go through some flexion and extension of the spine and also moving forward and back with the hips. So go ahead and follow me. We're going to drop the belly, arch the back, gaze up. And then you're going to round the back. And with that rounded back, you're going to press your hips toward your heels, but keep your back rounded. Make a conscious effort to make a rounding shape here. Hold for a couple seconds. Good, and then come back up to tabletop position. You can do this with the breath too. As you inhale, drop the belly, arch the back, gaze up, lift the tailbone. And then as you exhale, press the mat away, round the back, look towards your belly button, round your back a ton, and then reach your hips back to your heels with that rounded back position. You might even feel like your shoulders are rounding here a little bit. That's okay. Good, keep that rounded back position. Good, slowly come back up to tabletop. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, drop the belly, arch the back, gaze up, lift the tailbone. Exhale, press the mat away, round the back, look towards your belly button, and then with that rounded back shape, reach your hips back to your heels. Good, hold there. Keep that rounded back position, breathe. And then slowly come back to tabletop position. And then from here, we're going to step our feet forward towards our hands. If you're on a mat, take your feet as wide as your mat. If you're not, they're maybe about 2.5 feet apart. So I want you to have a nice bend to the knee. So we're not worrying about stretching the hamstrings here, so don't worry about straightening the legs. So much that your belly kind of rests inside the inner thighs. And then release your head. Take your hands to opposite elbows. Now with your hands, gently draw your elbows down towards the mat. Let your head be heavy, let your shoulders be heavy, and let your whole spine just decompress here. So let the weight of your shoulders and your head and your torso lengthen the spine down towards the ground and allow it for some decompression from always being upright. You can also sway from left to right here. Again, heavy head, heavy shoulders, heavy torso, heavy ribs. Keep the knees bent. And then just switch the grip that you have on the elbows. So place the hands in the opposite way. It'll probably feel a little weird as we are creatures of habit and tend to do things in a pattern in the same way. So a couple rocks back and forth. Nice bend to the knee. Torso is snuggled between the inner thighs. Heavy head, heavy shoulders. You can even shake your head out, yes and no here. Good, and then come back to center, release the elbows, bring the hands down to the mat. You're going to take your feet a little wider, so if you are on a mat, you're going to come off of your mat. We're still going to have bent knees to start, and then we might move into straighter legs, seeing how you feel. From here, we're just going to walk the hands out into similar to a hammock pose in yoga. So feet are going to be wider, feet parallel. Hands walk out, spread the palms out, and start to reach the chest towards the mat. And if you're able to straighten the legs, you can go ahead and straighten the legs there. Maybe even take them a touch wider. And then you continue to walk the hands forward a little bit. You can let that head come through the arms. Chest reach toward the back of the mat. Take a couple breaths. And then slowly walk the hands back in and heel toe the feet back in. And then stepping back to tabletop position. From here, take the knees wide, bring the big toes to touch, and reach the hips back to the heels. Walk the arms forward, coming into a child's pose. And then I just want to show you a couple of options here. If you have some blankets, or if you even have a bolster. I'm not sure if you have a bolster, but you probably have some blankets that you can fold, or even towels, to make a rectangular shape here. And then as you come into child's pose, the knees wide, you're going to just take that blanket structure right between the inner thighs, and you're going to walk the hands out. So it's going to give you a little bit of a raised surface to lie on. It's a little bit more of a restorative version. You can bring your head to one cheek, spend a couple minutes there, and then just make sure you turn your head to the opposite cheek, spend a couple minutes there. If you have a heating pad, you can place that on your back, or if you have a sandbag or a small child, you can have them sit right on your lower back, and it feels really nice.
I hope you guys are doing well. Message me with any questions or anything you would like to see, and I hope to see you soon.